Well, Lids has finished Whitby Town 0, Stockton Town 2 this afternoon. Not exactly the start of 2025, I'm sure you're after.
No, disappointing obviously. We've come into today in pretty decent shape, really, in decent form, and we wanted to back up the victory at Blyth with another positive result today. And no, it wasn't to be. It was a bit of a cagey affair. The weather was obviously it played a big part in the game, and I think we've seen that first half. It wasn't really a game of much quality first half, and probably the same second half really. And it was always going to be one of those where you're waiting for either team to make a mistake, and they got 2 goals in the end. And I thought we were always in the game in the first half. We had some good opportunities, probably the better of the 2 teams in the first half in terms of opportunities and chances created, and just couldn't quite get the ball over the line. But no, I just felt throughout the game, and especially throughout the both halves, we were quite suspect of the ball over the top, and we just couldn't quite deal with that. And their two goals, and ultimately of the first one obviously is come from something similar to that, where ball over the top, the lads hit a bit of a scuff shot and they tapped it in back post. But we had plenty of warning signs before that where Blandy's obviously had to come out and clear up as a type of sweeper keeper for us, and it was just the only way they were going to score, I think, in the end. Other than Blandy doing that, he hasn't really had much to deal with on the day. But we've run out 2-0 losers, unfortunately, and not disappointed.
Yeah, and you mentioned about that ball in behind, that even with the wind, both halves, it seemed to cause Whitby quite a few issues. But in that first half in particular, you mentioned it being a cagey affair, and it did feel that way. It sort of took both sides a while to sort of suss out the conditions after to face those balls into the box.
Yeah, I think we had a lot more to give. I said that at half time. I think we had a lot more to give, and we just seemed a little bit rushed at times. Like I said, the wind played a big part, but whenever we did get possession of the ball, we seemed a little bit rushed with it, and it ended up with sloppy passes being placed and balls being booted out of play. But like I said, the wind had a massive effect on that. But it was the same for both teams, and like I said earlier, it was always going to be a game where a mistake was probably going to turn it either way. And ultimately they've got a good victory under their belt, and they go away happy.
Yeah, and in that first half as well, in terms of what Shenblan had to do, it was kind of felt like it wasn't really shots he was having to defend as such, but crosses in where right under his crossbar to punch him away, and last ditch defended at times. But Whitby, as good as it got for them, probably Leighton Watson, Nathan Thomas, the 2 players that were really causing a few problems there, just couldn't get those clean connections and efforts.
Yeah, that especially first half, can't remember us having too many chances the second half. Whether I think the sending off probably had a bit to play in that, and it sort of gave them a bit of a leg up in that respect. So no, we had, like I said, we had a couple of chances in the first half where free kicks and keepers got a couple of decent saves on it, got himself behind the ball. They've had some last ditch defending, and Leighton's had one off the line by the keeper as well. So no, we can look at those, but I think ultimately, and if the lads look at themselves, and that us as staff look at ourselves, it hasn't really been good enough today for what we're used to. But what I do think is it's important. Today doesn't take away from the run the lads have been on. They've been terrific. Over this period to get us where we are at the moment, and I think we can look upon that and really have a positive end to the season.
Yeah, and then the red card, they're at Stockton at that point, 1-up in the game, and very similar to what we saw in boxing with it for Adam Gell, really. Second bookable offence through it. I don't know if you had much view on both of the cautions, but I suppose that's the disappointing aspect, particularly in the fact it's happened 2 games on the trot now.
Yeah, he's disappointed, Gelly, and he would be. I haven't spoke to him just yet, but I know he'll be disappointed. He's had 4 bookings over 2 games there, and ultimately leading to 2 red cards. So I'm not sure of the suspension, and that's the hard part to take. We're missing a very good and an important part of our team there for a number of games now. So he was disappointed. It's one he'll have to learn from. Like you said, today included, and Blyth, he wasn't really involved in any bad tackles. Just the little nitty ones that the more you do, the referee picks them up. So he's been unfortunate in that respect, but it's definitely one he'll have to learn from.
Yeah, and in terms of what your selection is going to be on Saturday, you're pretty much in the same situation. You're missing Gelly and Hawkins for that one. And I know you're hoping to have a new name through the door as well, but Ollie Thompson as well was introduced ahead of this match. What do you feel he can bring?
Energy, very much a like for Alf. Alf, he's come back from injury and hasn't quite, got himself in the team at the moment, and he expects a desire to go out and play football somewhere. So, the opportunity for him to join Blyth came along, and obviously he knows Nath really well there. So, I'm more than happy to let him do that for the month or so, and a like for like replacement in Ollie there, coming in off the back of it. So hopefully he can have an impact for us. I'm hoping to have another one through the door just to give us a little bit more options and numbers going forward, and we'll see what that brings.
Yeah, and that's going to be key as well in terms of having those options on Saturday, because against Bamber it kind of feels like one of those matches, given a position to both sides of the table, it's got quite a lot riding on it in terms of potential where they can finish at the end of the campaign. Yeah,
they're all big games, and I said that prior to today. Blyth was a big game, and today was a big game. All for different reasons, and like you said, we'll be depleted in numbers a little bit in central areas, but there's plenty of options there, and I'm hoping I can find the right formula to go to Bamber and get a positive result on the back of a disappointing one today.
Thank you very much, Liz.
Cheers.